So I had a project series in mind, and I think that this truck is going to absolutely nail it. And I apologize for my neighbor's dog barking. He's very cute, and so be it. I hope you guys love dogs. I love dogs. This is a 2007, so a classic, last year for the pre-emissions Duramax. And this is known as an LBZ. They are pretty well known. My dad had one when I was a kid. He bought it new, and I think he paid $42,000 brand new for a LT. It was a Chevy version, 2500, just like this. All Duramaxes that were in pickup trucks had 373 gears, so this one has 373 gears. It is four-wheel drive. It is a four-door, and it has a short bed. So pretty normal configuration for these. I'm not exactly sure the production numbers in terms of extended cab, regular cab, four-door, and then long bed versus short bed. And I have absolutely no idea. If somebody knows about how many they made of these, or what was the most popular configuration in 2007, I'd be genuinely curious. I have a feeling that it's four-door short bed, but I'm not exactly sure. It could be extended cab short bed. Back in the day, extended cab short beds were super duper popular. This one is a Survivor. It has just over 200,000 miles. It is rust-free. There's no rust, and I've checked everything in any of the fender lips, cab corners, rockers, floorboards, bed, nothing. The frame does absolutely have surface rust like every frame of this era. GM did a terrible job coating the frames. That is one of the primary concerns. We're going to get to the whole list of things that we're going to do with this thing. Why is this truck so special, and why did I select this for the channel to do some testing with? First of all, I love diesels. I am not a diesel hater at all. My channel may feature my 7.3 liter gas Godzilla motor. I love that engine. And I think it speaks volumes to how good that engine is because I am a diesel fan. I've owned diesels in the past. I previously had a 6.7 powerstroke. I traded my 6.7 powerstroke in to get my 7.3. I have an 03 Cummins, which needs to have some work. It is nowhere near as nice a truck as this. In fact, my 03 Cummins is rough. It has had a hard life. I beat the tar out of it. It has a lot of work that I need to do. I will feature some of that work on the channel, but I think that the channel has really showed me that the primary interest of people is seeing vehicles work. There's a lot of people who make excellent mechanic videos, and I'm talking really good videography, really good explanations, excellent editing, and I'm not that editor. I am not that videographer. I think that you guys want to see the final products because there are people doing a great job already with detailed mechanic videos, and I'm not that guy. I am a good mechanic. I can find my way around things. The problem is also it's hard to produce a video that's any good, and to do a good job being a mechanic and then also do a good job producing a video. Shout out to all you YouTube creators who do that, because that takes, I don't think people appreciate what a special skill that requires in order to do it. So we're not going to try and do that. We're going to focus on the final result and how things perform, because that is what my mind is most interested in. So this specific truck is 100% stock. Short of a couple things, we'll talk about it. In order to fit these 285/75 R16s, which are a little bit worn out, these are Grandpa's BF Goodrich KO2s, and they are still as sassy as they were when they first came out. I absolutely love KO2s. They're just a pretty tire. They work excellent in the snow. They work good about it. Everything else except for the mud. They're a good all-around work truck tire. I don't think you can even get them anymore. Surprise, surprise, I've already ordered Falcon AT4Ws. I have no association with Falcon. I just love those tires. They work really well. We're going to be enjoying this Duramax all season, and having all-season tires is extremely important. These wheels are also on the list of things that are not perfect. All of them have a little bit of corrosion. So be it. They're old. And so these wheels are going to become the winter beater wheels. So what are going to go on the winter beater wheels? Well, guess what? It is November. Winter is around the corner. So the most important thing right now is to have good winter tires. Because this truck is so clean, I had a little bit different of a project plan when I was looking for a Duramax, because I was planning on finding one that had, maybe some rocker panel damage, maybe it needed some fender work, do some welding, do some, I've already fixed the rust that used to exist in my Cummins. In another 12 years later, it's now rusty again in different places. So I've chased rust before, but we're starting with something that isn't a rust bucket, which is super duper nice. These trucks were good performers factory. They had okay brakes. They had good power. They had an okay automatic transmission. Now, This is where this video is going to be a little bit controversial. I don't believe that these are the end-all be-all trucks. I think that they are very good trucks for what they are, and that is exactly what we're going to try and exploit on this channel. I don't believe they're as good as a brand new truck. I certainly don't believe they're as good as a brand new diesel, but that is exactly what we're going to try and conquer. This truck is about 1/3 the price that I paid for my brand new 7.3 gasser STX F350. So for 1/3 the price, where are we at? And that is something we're going to cover in this video. And then we're going to go exploit the truck and do some towing. I'm waiting on a new trailer hitch. The reason why we're not going right away into doing stuff, I have seen so many of the factory round tube hitches fail. I am not going to be one of those people who goes and puts this truck to work and finds out that I break a hitch, and then I put the trailer in danger, I put whatever I'm towing in danger, I put the truck in danger, I put other people in danger. We're not doing that. It's getting a brand new trailer hitch before you even start doing any testing, because that is a low-hanging fruit, is something, in my opinion, on a GMT 800, as good as these trucks are. That trailer hitch is a dangerous safety issue. And sometimes you don't even see the rust. The rust is inside. We'll do a walk around here in a second. You're going to see that there's some surface rust. That is a dead giveaway to me that the interior of the hitch can be compromised. I highly recommend, as a rule of thumb, always replace the round tube trailer hitches that came on these trucks with a new square tube trailer hitch that is brand new, and then you can trust it. They are very good trucks all around, but that is a huge Achilles heel that can be very dangerous to you and the people around you. These came rated, I believe, if I remember correctly, at 360 horsepower and 650 foot-pounds of torque. They were very strong performers back in 2007. I'll bring you guys back to 2007. That was a long time ago. I was, let's see here, I was in 8th grade, I think, when this truck came out. It may have been 7th. It was 7th or 8th. And so, or the 07 model year, I would have been 6th grade or so when the 06 came out. 6th, 7th, whatever the heck it was, when the first year of the LBZ came out. These were older trucks. What is my background with Duramaxes before that? Because there's probably a reason why I like this truck so much. I was a little kid. My mom was actually going through breast cancer treatment, and I didn't know it. My parents didn't tell me anything until my mom was actually proven to be cured. I didn't actually know that my mom had breast cancer when I was a kid. That's the way my parents handled the situation. And, of course, that meant that the burden was not on me as a little guy. My mom is still alive, and she, as of right now, does not have breast cancer again. So that is great news. Breast cancer is very awful. My uncle died of pancreatic cancer. There's a lot of cancer in my family, unfortunately. And, of course, my dad just died of ALS. So, you know, things are crazy. I get a lot of new viewers, and this truck's going to haul in a lot of new viewers. So I'm very open with my YouTube audiences. And I figure that there's going to be some people who know and some people don't. Everyone who had that already knows that is going to be like, well, you didn't mention your dad. I mentioned my dad. All right. So my dad's friend, Danny, who is still my friend, great guy, came to my wedding. I raced sailboats with him all through my life. He got an LB7. It was a GMC. And it was like an 01. It was right when they came out. He got an LB7 brand new. And it was an extended cab, a short bed, 4-wheel drive, was on these wheels. And as a young man, 2001, I was a little guy. And that truck it spoke volumes to me. Previously, my experience with diesels, because back then diesels were not commonly owned by just everybody. My friend's mom had it was probably a 96 or something like that, 7.3 4-door long bed in that beautiful cherry blue F350, so it had a Dana 60, and it was lifted. It had a chrome rack on or a chrome headache bar on the back, and it was straight piped. I think it had stacks. That was to me, the most wicked and cool thing I've ever seen in my life. Anyway, so this truck is definitely tickling the feels for me, for sure. I took my driver's test in my dad's LBZ. Driving this thing being on stock just brings me right back to those really good old days. My dad was young. We had just really good times together, cutting wood and going four-wheeling and doing things with school. He used to take us on, he took us to Mackinac and, for school trips and things like that in the Duramax, and just really good times. Back then, Duramax would have been brand new when we went to Mackinac like that. That was great times. So this one kind of harkens back a little bit to that. And getting back to the goals here, we're going to talk about the goals of this stage of the project. Maybe I'll mention the later stages too to get people a little bit excited about it. But But, and then I'll do a walk around of where we're at with this truck, because it is not perfect. This is an honest driving truck. I'm going to drive the heck out of it. My bet is that this truck will see very, very high miles as long as it doesn't get wrecked for something stupid. And no, I am not a YouTuber that destroys stuff. I was raised to conserve. I was raised to pick pennies off the ground, and I was raised to cherish mechanical things because they treat you well in return when you cherish them. That's just how I was raised. That's how we do things here. And I'm going to try and be entertaining despite that. All right, so I mentioned that this truck is about 1/3 the price of my truck. Where does this thing stand compared to a brand new gas truck? And I think an excellent gas truck, my 7.3 liter gas. And then we're going to look at how can we make, and we'll kind of see where we're at there. My feeling is that for sure my truck is going to stop better, it's going to handle weight better, all that good stuff. And then we're going to start looking at how can we make this truck just a little bit better than a gas truck, and maybe start hitting on the heels of a brand new diesel truck, whether it be a brand new Duramax, brand new Cummins, brand new 6.7 powerstroke. And we're going to see how cheaply we can do that. The things that we're going to need to do that are going to be better brakes, potentially some cooling, a small amount more power, and definitely when I say that, a small amount more power, we'll definitely do some airflow improvements. That'll be kind of a first thing. I believe a huge amount in airflow. On my Cummins, I put a bunch of airflow improvements. I put a bunch of airflow improvements on my Cummins, and it always served me well. I never burnt a piston. I never have had out of sorts EGTs, things like that. So we've already got a 3-inch downpipe. We've already got an open exhaust. It could deserve a colder intake and boost and charge tubes. And then there's some different things, and I'm not a super expert on Duramaxes yet. I heard that there's a Y-bridge thing you can do to improve the flow of that. There's going to be some stuff that we can do to improve that. But what's going to happen first, trailer hitch we've already talked about. I've already ordered timbrins for it. That takes care of load bearing. We're never going to change the rating or the towing capacity of this truck, but we can improve how it performs when you put weight on it. That will be very, very important. These have small fuel tanks. We're going to look at improving the fuel capacity of this thing. One thing I don't have, I have tractors and excavator and stuff, and we'll certainly look at towing that stuff. But one problem I've had is I'm tired of filling tractors and excavators with fuel cans. I would really like to have a reliable truck that has fuel on board. I would like to have a 50 or 70 gallon transfer tank in this thing to not only fill itself transfer wise, but also to fill up other things. That'll be kind of a part of something that would be very handy for me, and I think it'll work out really, really well for the truck. So better trailer hitch, timbrins, fuel range, improving the brakes is going to be important. We'll look and see what we can do with that. And like I said, a little bit of power here and there, and a lift pump. Duramax has never came with a lift pump. This truck still doesn't have a lift pump. It is 100% stock. So is EGR, still has, except for the exhaust, like I mentioned. So stock tune still has no lift pump. So we're going to do, whether it be an air dog or a fast, let me know what you guys think. Everyone's going to have a different opinion on this. I don't have an opinion. I was going to do fast just because everybody hates on fast so much, to see how it did. The biggest thing is that we need to have better filtration. We need to have improved fuel supply to the pump so we don't have that thing running dry. And this, again, this is a truck that I'm willing to put some money into if we run into an Allison problem. I've never been a huge Allison fan. My dad's Duramax started having the Allison go into limp mode at 34,000 miles, and my dad had factory tires, baloney skins, and never towed over its rating. We were towing a race car trailer with a case car through downtown Orlando on like a 110-degree day in tow haul mode. We weren't doing anything wrong. Truck started to limp, and from then on, if you weren't careful, it could limp. It didn't do it as much because it really just was really, really hot, and we had the race car trailer on the back, had a car in it for a case car down. Like I said, literally, instead of going around Orlando and wasting 10 miles or 20 miles, he drove straight through the middle of Orlando during rush hour. Stupid idea. But that, in my opinion, that should never have been a problem. So we're going to see how the Allison performs. I got to drive an LBZ on a snowmobile trip. We went to Wawa, and on the way home from Wawa to the Sioux in a snowstorm, the owner of the truck and the owner of the trailer actually asked me to drive from the hotel to there. I think they were testing my meat to see if I was as cool as they thought I was after riding 1,000 miles with them through Canada. And I did a really nice job, piloted the truck through there were some decent hills there from Wawa to Sault Ste. Marie. It was a really beautiful drive. He had a kind of the exact same idea what I'm doing here. He had a big transfer tank in the bed. And in fact, I think he told me he had 300 gallons of fuel in the bed. We drove all the way from basically Lapeer area to Wawa and back, and still had a half a tank of fuel in the truck. So we had used the transfer tank and then still had a half a tank in the truck. So I think he had like 300 gallons of fuel in the bed or something. Maybe it was 150. He had a lot of fuel in the bed. And actually, now I'm thinking about it, he may have also said that he also had some still in the truck. Whatever. We did not need fuel that whole time. We'll just put it that way. So that's pretty cool. But that truck had a small tune. I wouldn't guess that it was any more than 60 or 80 horsepower. And it really made the truck come alive. It was a really honest truck. Same setup as this, stock height, 285s, good set of snow tires. So, of course, we ran into a nasty snowstorm in the hills and whatever. I think it had an exhaust brake controller. I seem to remember it had a really good, it had the exhaust brake working for us, and it had a built trans. And it was on point. It was a really easy, fun truck to drive. I genuinely enjoyed it and left a mark on me. Maybe we didn't really see the full capabilities of LBZ when my dad had it. And so I'm really interested to see what it's going to take this truck to that level. But first, we're going to start off with fixing the trailer hitch in the Timberlands, run it as is. And we're going to look at a lift pump, probably part of that too, because I think it deserves a lift pump during that time. At the same time, we'll walk around and talk about some of the cosmetic stuff. We'll identify the cosmetic stuff in stage 1. Stage 2 is going to be add a little bit of power, maybe a built trans, because you really shouldn't add any power to a Duramax without a built trans. And we'll start trying to nip on the heels of a stock brand new L5P or a 6.7 powerstroke. We'll start to nip on the heels of those with this truck. And we're going to try and do it for less than half the value of a new truck. So that's what we're going to hopefully try and do. And then stage 3 is going to be, let's see if we can make a better truck than an OEM truck. And can we do it for, half to maybe a little bit over half of the price of a brand new truck? You can't really get a new Duramax for any less than, or a 6.7 powerstroke that has 4 doors and whatever and 4-wheel drive for like, you're really in at 70 grand plus to get a base model. So if you take, that $35,000 or so mark, what can we do with this truck with a total of $35,000 in it? So that would be, and that's not right now, that'd be a $15,000 budget over where we're at basically right now. So, and we'll keep chipping away at that, of course, with the lift pump and the trailer hitch and the Timberlands, and anything else that we need to do along the way. The trans will be in there. So basically you always got a budget with an Allison. You were probably looking at $8,000 or so for like a 750 horsepower towing trans. And then we'll look into tuning. Is not very expensive, but we need to have the supporting mods. We'll already have the lift pump, and we'll assess things out as we go. So that'll be kind of the long-term goal. I don't see any reason to really lift this truck. I don't see any reason to get too crazy with tires, because I'll tell you right now, the 285/75 R16s will go basically anywhere you ever want to bring a truck like this. And it's going to compare fairly closely to my truck. With those tires in terms of off-road performance, things like that. We will probably look into doing some kryptonite front suspension stuff so we don't break a tie rod. Probably don't need to worry about that right this second, but at some point we'll start looking into that. If we need to do any front-end work, we will, of course, be upgrading along the way. This truck is really nicely performing shocks as it is. They seem to be in really good shape, so we're going to leave this be right now. One of the things that bothers me, tell me what you guys think about this front bull bar. It's never been my style, but on this truck, it actually looks kind of cool. Here's the problem, though. When you go bolt the bull bar on, you lose your tow hooks. And as someone who has had a friend get stuck and him not have front tow hooks, and trying to pull a truck out without front tow hooks when you can't get to the rear, kind of sucks. So I would like to assess what we can do there. Here's one problem. Weston HGX comes to mind as a really good option for this truck. We get to put a 12K winch on the front, and we'd have a little bit of front end protection, and we'd be able to have tow hooks and things like that. I don't think they make one for this truck, so I need to dive a little bit into that. If anybody knows of a brush guard that has a winch mount, let me know. Or we could build one. That's an option. I kind of want to leave the front end of this truck, because like you go buy a brand new truck and you're going to have a stock looking front end. And I think that we should probably, because this is a good looking front end, don't you think? The bumper with the color on it and the fog lights and whatever. We're going to see if we can figure out what to do here. I don't like not having a way to pull myself out. One thing we could do is build some tow hooks to put in there and have them come off to the side a little bit. The problem is that if you're pulling at an angle, you could just rip that thing off and end up damaging the bumper. So it is fairly strong, but it's not, it's not super thick wall. You can see that it's not crazy thick. It's a little thick, but it's not too crazy. You could probably push off a deer with that. But it doesn't have any coverage for the outside of the truck. And anyone who's hit a deer, you probably know that the outside, usually the lights in the side of the bumper are a primary target point. for it. We're going to see how these things work. I don't have a camper to tow with this right now in terms of tow mirrors. My enclosed trailer shouldn't be a problem to see around the tow mirrors. I'm not a super big tow mirror guy because, frankly, maybe it's my height. Maybe it's, I don't know. I don't see that they need to exist so much for me. We will see how that works. I have really wide trailers that I can see around. We're going to see how those things do without monkeying with them. Everything works, so we don't have to worry about that. Like I said, the wheels are a little bit tarnished. We may look at maybe trying to polish them out, see what we can do, but these can also just be the winter set. One thing that I would like to identify is I was just looking online at getting a POR 15, a gallon of it, because I want to do my Cummins. I want to do my wife's new 6.0 that we've already shown on here, and then my Cummins deserves to have some paint. A gallon of POR 15 and also the primer and all that stuff to repaint the whole frame to get a better rust preventative coating, I think is going to be super duper well worth doing. That's going to be on the list of things to do. The hood has some good honest rock chips because you know what? It's been driven. And I'm going to drive it, so be it. But I would like to do something to prevent front end rust. If anybody has any recommendations, do I just get a paint pen for this color and go through and change it? It is blue. It might be hard to tell in this light, but it is a pretty good looking blue. It has grandpa steps. I'm not sure that I'm going to keep those, and no offense to grandpas out there. I love my dad and he was a grandpa, so no offense to grandpas, but it's, got that kind of grandpa look, and I don't necessarily mind that, but those may have to go. We will see about that because really they don't do any good. For me, you're just hitting your leg on them. They don't really help at all. I would say, though, this back step getting into the bed here might actually be kind of handy, so maybe we'll keep them. We don't know. It has an MBRP, at least exhaust tip. I don't know what the whole exhaust is. I guess I haven't looked that hard, whatever. Cosmetically, someone found a way when they were hooking up a trailer, I think, to bump the bumper. Kind of the one thing here that's a little bent up is the rear bumper. I found a Fab Fours diamond plate black rear bumper for this era truck, and I think it would look really good on this truck. It would kind of be business at the front, party at the back. It would protect the back of the truck when you're towing. I was kind of looking at doing that. Let me know what you guys think. Maybe I can put in a picture right here, Doug. Put in the picture. Remember, Doug, put it right there. Yes, and I have a new trim piece to put right here. There are definitely some honest bed bumps. I mean, that these things happen. Some scratches, whatever. I would like to re-bed line this at some point because I think that'll make a big difference. Should I put a topper on this or a like a Diamondback truck cover, since we're not going to be goosenecking this thing at any time? Do we put a topper on it? The problem is it just looks so good as a pickup truck, and the topper will change that. But let me know what you guys think, because I don't have a truck that is as nice as this with a true topper. And of course, on snowmobiling trips or four-wheeling trips, being able to store your gear locked up in the bed under a topper out of the weather is a huge asset. So we will, or let me know here what you guys kind of think about that. I'm open to suggestions. It has that really fun pinstripe running down the side, and of course it has an Allison Duramax badge on the side. I am not a super Allison fan, so I don't look at that as a super big badge of honor, but it's there. We'll see how the Allison does. It still seems to be running really good. I'm not a big fan of lip mode stuff. I don't like not being able to get home as someone who's been stuck on the side of the road in scary neighborhoods or in bad situations. I'm not a big fan of anything that'll just self-destruct or self-shut off when it's not actually self-destructed on the side of the road. Anyway, so that's the new truck, and we are going to see how it does. And right now, I'm going to take my wife on a little bit of a date night. We are kidless tonight, and we're going to take the Duramax, which is now legal plated, insured, all the good stuff, on a date night. So I will see all you guys later. I hope you guys enjoyed the walk-around video of this truck. And, well, hold on. You guys haven't seen the interior. That's no fair. Just a little bit of rubbing right there. We're going to see if we can maybe sew that back up. It's a beautiful truck. I mean, it's an honest truck. I really, really love this truck. Everything works. Here's the new trim piece that I haven't put on yet. The owner gave me, or the prior owner gave me, the box for the edge, and then a EGT probe hookup, and then the manuals that came with the truck, which is cool to have those. Seats are in pretty good shape in the back. Yeah. It does, someone's going to point out, yes, it did have fifth wheel rails. Someone took it out. I think that was the first. I got the inkling that the guy I bought it from the original owner. So I'm the third owner of this truck. And he was an older gentleman, drove a camper. So if by any chance you're watching a video of your own truck, make sure you comment, because I want to commend you on doing such a nice job taking care of your truck so that can be enjoyed by somebody else, me. So if you guys have any ideas about the trajectory of the truck, if you like the sound of the 3 stages of this little project side piece, is what I'm calling it, because I think I might be slightly in love with this truck, and there's not really a good reason for it, because I always get hooked to vehicles. That's a lie. I have a bad habit of loving things that have some meaning to me and things like that. So this is a pretty cool truck. Let me know what you guys think. I hope to hear from you guys. I hope this video does well, because I want to keep trying to provide you guys with cool videos. We'll get this thing to work. We'll hopefully have some exhaust clips here, and we'll go from there. Hopefully we'll get an exhaust clip, and that'll be at the end of this. So don't get off the phone quite yet, or don't get off the video quite yet, and we can get an exhaust clip of this guy. Take care all, and have a wonderful day. And please make sure to subscribe if you want to see more videos about this, more videos about my 05 or 04 6.0 Vortec 2500, which is my wife's winter commuter car, and my Cummins will be here shortly, getting work done. My Excursion really needs to get back on the road, and so I'm going to try and fill in some older vehicle content with my newer vehicle content too, because, well, I am someone who loves trucks, and this is something that I love to do. Take care all, and have a wonderful day.